Hi, I'm Myra Goodman. I am co-author with my father, Mendick Rubin, of the book Quest for Eternal Sunshine, a Holocaust survivor's journey from darkness to light. And I am here today with one of the most amazing people and healers that I have ever worked with, Hilary Nicholls. We are approaching Father's Day, which happens to be the summer solstice this year. Hilary is great explaining to us the different opportunities that happen at different times of the year. And I wanted her to just talk a little bit about the solstice, especially right now when we're going through the pandemic. So much social awareness, social change, so much pain. What are you seeing happening now? And do you see the summer solstice as being anything significant or something we can be aware of right now?
I do. Thank you for having me, Myra. I do see it as a very important choice point. You know, the summer solstice is the longest days of light. And we've all been in various stages of, tension and anxiety and fear and the unknown, not sure how this virus will look like in our lives and who it will touch and in what way. And when we get that contracted and our nervous system starts to get into that constant stressful state, we really cut off this more right brain and connected with nature aspect of ourselves, which is where healing occurs. And so when we are at rest and at peace and at calm, we get to tap into the biology that we have inside that heals and repairs. Because if your system is like a tight sponge in your fist, you really can't absorb the healing energies and the biology that we're all equipped with. We all are self-healing organisms, but we need to be in a certain mode to have that optimized.
How come the summer solstice is the opportunity for this self-healing and self-nurturing?
Because in the summer, in the northern hemisphere, and the longest days of light, it's that lush growing season. It's the strongest yin forces, the growth from the earth toward the sun. Everything is coaxed by that light to come out into full flower and full fruit. So this is the perfect time to pay attention to those circuits in our own bodies, where we can tap into how do we want to nourish ourselves. And the way that we do that is to become sensitive to what our bodies, hearts, and minds really need. Not these created needs, that just whet our appetites but don't really nourish us.
Right.
But on all levels, starting with good food and clear water and all of that, starting with that, but also with movement, and also what nourishes your heart, what nourishes your mind, what brings it to peace. And one way that the mind can come to peace very quickly is by having your attention rest on nature's beauty. And in the summertime, that's in full force. So having your senses aware, awake, and attuned to the natural world during such a lush growing time is a time where you can breathe that in and take that in through your body and switch to those biologically friendly circuits I was talking about that bring healing.
There's the pandemic, there's the economy, there's this kind of wake-up call that it is time to solve this racial injustice issue that is as much a disease as, if not more, as the pandemic. And so as people have these waves of anxiety or fear or feeling unsettled, one of the things you did for me when I was on my book tour is you gave me these really short meditations to quiet me down and be in the moment. And they were miraculous. After you gave me these different exercises to feel connected, I was just calm and I enjoyed it. It was almost like it was an awakening opportunity, because I knew I had to be really present to not be afraid. And I'm just wondering if you could just lead me right now, and then the viewers can join us to just a simple meditation.
Okay, so I would say for the end of the day, you know that time where the sun is low? They call it the magic hour in photography. The sun is low and it just, the light, the angle of the light, it's magical. Artists wait for that time to paint and photographers wait for that time to shoot. And just after that time, there's like a sunset effect. And there is something very biologically, emotionally, and psychically very soothing about this late angle of the sun to the sunset. We tend to just like slow down naturally. There are physiological reasons for that, but it is bringing yourself back into the natural cycle of night and day, of going into rest and digest. And if you can tune into that, it will help you shift out of a stressful anxiety, little hamster in the wheel state into a more of a rest and digest and peacefully centered state. Let's do one of those. Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath with me and place a hand on your belly. And on the exhale, as you let the air out slowly, let your weight settle into whatever you're sitting on. Slowly inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. That's releasing breath. Just to start, 2 more of those. Inhale through the nose. Exhale and release your weight into your chair. Feel yourself supported. Another breath. And let it out. And then in and out through the nose. Just notice the wave of your breath moving through your body. Then bring yourself in your imagination to a favorite natural environment, wherever that is for you, and just notice what elements are present. Kind of earth, water, vegetation or trees, birds, animals, the sky. And for now, imagine that you are in this beautiful environment just before sunset. So the angle of the sun is low. And find a place to sit where you can relax and be supported. Perhaps your back is against a tree, or maybe the sand is soft and warm. And attune to the sounds around you. Perhaps there's a water sound of water over the stones in a brook, or waves curling on the beach, or just a gentle breeze through the leaves of the tree. And notice where the angle of that light is touching nature. And feel it on your skin. What lights your heart? Is it the luminosity of green leaves, or the shimmer of the light on the water? Do you hear the sounds of the birds roosting in the trees? Taking a deep breath and breathe in what is most beautiful and nourishing to you. Now raise your hand up to your heart. And as you breathe, nourish that light, that beauty, that peace. Fill your heart just like a waterfall filling a pool. As you inhale, the water fills you. And as you exhale, it rinses through your body, down and out your feet. Breathe in and exhale. And just relax your hands on your lap. Take a moment to be aware of how your body feels when your attention is on what's beautiful to you, what lights up your own heart. And just like that sponge when it's compressed in the fist, and as we open our hands and allow the sponge of our body, of our emotions, of our consciousness to expand and then rest, we're taking in the nourishment of Mother Earth and what she has so abundantly to offer us. And then slowly coming back, just wiggling your fingers and toes. And as you open your eyes, just slowly look through your lashes with blurred vision first, staying in contact with the peace in your heart and in your body. And just slowly looking around the room and including your own environment in this piece where you are right now. It's not an off and on switch, it's more like a dimmer switch that opens up and includes where you are. That's just a short and sweet little nourishing meditation.
It reminds me, for people who haven't tried it, you did this beautiful meditation for my dad's sanctuary. My dad had a visualization in nature that he went to all the time and expanded on. And he said it was as real as, or more real as any place that really existed, and everyone was welcome. But what I was thinking about when you were doing that is that my dad started that little essay saying I think he said the most beautiful piece of real estate he ever owned never cost a cent. And that, you take just those few minutes, I was on a vacation. I think it's so important when we're all, things are opening up, people are leaving their house, people are, hiking more, but we're still more at home than we've been.
Yes.
And just to realize that we can go anywhere in our imaginations.
And we can take that piece with us whenever we go. And if you're wanting to use that kind of meditation for the morning when you're first waking up, then it's, again, the angle of the sun as the sun rises. So you get in tune with the cycles of day and night. And that's the thing, is now we don't have this, we have gears that are like high and off. We haven't included these other transitional gears throughout our day. And it's so important to have those.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more aware of the state of my nervous system. And so when I feel myself get agitated, notice it and then settle. As someone who spends a lot of their life meditating, what's that process like for you? And do you have any tricks that you can share?
Yeah, it's really important. Actually, I think it's highly effective not just to do one long meditation in the morning, as many people do in their practice. I actually do more mini meditations throughout the day, especially during this time. I have really upped my ante on doing many more mini meditations through the day.
How short are your mini ones?
That's a good question, because I don't measure them, but it's just about as short as we just did. Just a few minutes in the morning, a few minutes somewhere in midday, and a few minutes at night can be sometimes more effective.
When I take that little time, the world looks different. And that's one thing my dad said is, the world we see is the outer world is a projection of our inner world. And if we're calm, things don't seem so overwhelming.
When you take an action from that calm place, it's like dropping that pebble into the center of a still pond. The ripples go out and they touch the banks and they come back, instead of when we're running around the periphery, splashing around trying to do things. When you're centered, your actions have a greater effect. Less is really more. There's more grace when you come from peace. Right. And your actions are more intuitive and guided. People often tell me they don't have 45 minutes in the morning to do this. I have found these mini meditations, they tell me that they are more efficient and there's more synchronicity in their day because they're incorporating much more of the intuitive aspect they get in touch with when they're meditating.
So it's kind of like driving a car at an efficient speed. You use less gas for the same distance. One of the things that my dad always talked about that has been so clear to me is how thoughts are contagious and moods are contagious. And when you were talking about coming from a place of calm, it's way more about your energy state than the words that come out of your mouth. So that
so much more.
When we are around this level of calm and connection, our nervous system sort of gets in sync with that and we feel better.
I encourage people to reach for that support because, who in your life has that center? It will make such a difference. You will pass that on to someone else. It is a pay it forward kind of calm.
Yeah.
It is something you absorb and you fill and then spills over and it gets passed on.
Because you see how hatred, how prejudice, how anxiety spreads. And it's like we have to consciously, that we have to consciously decide that we're going to be holding on, creating this peace within us and spreading this peace.
Absolutely. That's a commitment, I made to myself for this life in the profession I do, but also as a person, just walking around in the world and greeting people. There's so much division now and so much categorizing and separation that I was going to look through the eyes of unity. Your father talked a lot about that, seeing people through the eyes of compassion, through the eyes of the heart, noticing the unique differences as a beauty in life and appreciating that beauty, but really seeing the unity of all. That's incredibly not only just peaceful, it's enlivening. It uplifts you. Because compassion is a very high state, gratitude's a very high state. Well, unity is a very high state. And, these are philosophical concepts. So when you meditate and you use nature, let's say, for a focus for your meditation, it will happen naturally. You don't have to, pep talk yourself into it. That's quite the opposite. You're not trying to wrap your mind around something. You're literally unwrapping your mind of concepts, and you're dropping into states of appreciation, gratitude, beauty, compassion, and unity. Those are all very, very uplifting states, feel good and healing states as well.